Hello, gamers. Welcome to the Southern Magic podcast featuring just me this time. I am your host, Will, and I guess I shouldn't say I have some rambling to do. And by that, I mean I just got back from an event. That's why I look kind of rough right now. My hair's a little long. I need to shave and do all that stuff. But I just wanted to talk about what I did this weekend, which was I attended Gencon. And if you don't know what Gencon is, it is a festival, or I guess a convention, that happens around Indianapolis. And by around, I mean happens in Indianapolis. That celebrates pretty much all tabletop, board games, RPG stuff. It's actually where Magic was first introduced. D&D is, I don't think it was introduced there, but it's played there a lot. There was Lorcana, Star Wars Unlimited, every board game imaginable that you could think of. Just an array of different board games and fun stuff to do. And I was lucky enough to get accepted to judge the event. So I was able to judge 2 of the four days. And I kind of wanted to talk about my experience with really working the event, some of the fun stuff that happened. So without further ado, this is the podcast. Okay, so we're gonna start all the way from the beginning, which will be Wednesday, driving up, and then we're gonna go all the way till Sunday, which is, I put notes down so I can remember everything that I wanted to talk about. Wednesday, we're driving up. And by we, I mean me. I am the only one that's driving up to this. I had a friend who, he went up also, but their truck was so full that they couldn't fit another person there because it was all filled with merch and stuff that they wanted to sell. So I'm like, that's not a big deal. It was about a 7-hour drive. Well, it was supposed to be a 7-hour drive. My least favorite city in the world is Atlanta, but this runner-up is Nashville. Nashville, it doesn't matter what time of day that you are traveling, you will always hit traffic there. I get to Nashville, I leave around noon, I get there around 2:30 or so, and it's just bumper-to-bumper traffic. There's no wrecks, there's no road work, it's just traffic. I am stuck there for a full hour, so instead of getting there at, I think it was 7:30, I get there around 9:30 because I stop for gas and do dinner breaks. Luckily, it was, like I said, it was a good drive up, a lot of corn. I couldn't remember if I was in Kentucky or Indiana, and then I kept passing cornfields, so I was like, oh, I know where I am now. So, get up there, it's around, like I said, 9:30-ish or so, and they, the company that does this is Pastimes, this one right here. This is proof also that I was working, I didn't make it up, there's my name over there. But, when I get to the hotel, the hotel is a Spring Hill Suites with a Courtyard Marriott attached to it. So I go to the Spring Hill Suites booth, and I see a guy that I recognize. I don't know his name, but I've seen him judging tournaments before. And I go up to him and say, hey, would your drive good? How is everything? He goes, I was just told that our room got canceled. And I go, what do you mean our room got canceled? I know I'm not rooming with you. So the guy comes to the front, and I go, hey, I'm here to check in. I give him my name. I give him who it was booked under. I won't be using any names during this entire thing because I don't want to out anybody or anything like that. But I tell them, who it's booked under. And they go, oh, yeah, that was canceled. And I go, what do you mean it was canceled? I just drove. I don't say this, of course. I'm thinking this. 7 hours up here. It's like, what am I gonna do? What I gotta do? So I call the people that I'm rooming with, and I tell them, hey, I'm going through this right now. I will let y'all know what happens. They aren't gonna get there till 1 a.m. anyway. So, there was like a system glitch or something where basically all the rooms that they booked for the judges for the Spring Hill didn't go through. So luckily, they did have a couple rooms, and they were able to fit us in. It just scared me and the other judge, just half to death. So luckily it was attached to the Courtyard Marriott, so we got some of their rooms, and they put us in the handicap accessible room. So this room is bigger than my apartment. It is I don't know how many square feet, but the living room was gigantic. The bedroom was gigantic. And if you didn't know, the handicap suites don't have bathtubs. They only have showers, which was interesting because basically whenever you took a shower, the entire floor flooded. So you had to make sure not leave your clothes on the floor, else it'll flood out. We had at the end of it, we had 10 towels on the floor, just soaking wet, and it was really wet, moist. It wasn't great. It wasn't great by the end of it. We had room service too on one of the days, and it's just, it was a rough time. So continuing on Wednesday, this, like I said, I know most of this is not magic stuff yet. This is just driving up and, like I said, my experiences through all this. So it's late. At this point, it's 10:30. Parents, want to make sure I made it there. I sent them a video of the place, and they're like, wow, it's really cool. Outside was freaking sweet too. On the left was Lucas Oil Stadium. So, that's where the Colts lose. And in the front was a minor league baseball team. I don't know the Indianapolis baseball team off the top of my head. And then to the right was a concert venue. So very, very nice view of the city. I don't want to go out because I'm tired. I've been driving so long. So I decided to do Uber Eats, and they had a 50% off coupon. So that means I only spent $20 on Wingstop. So I got a normal order, and this will probably be the only bashing I do on here. I really do think the staff was great and all that. This was the one thing that I was actually irritated about. This guy, I put in the right address. This guy says, I'm here. And I go, okay, cool. I go down to the front, and I check the Spring Hill Suites first, because I was like, okay, I think I told him to go here. He wasn't there. I go to the other side, which is the Courtyard Marriott. He's not there. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, I message him. I say, I don't see you. Where are you at? And he goes, I'm here. And I'm like, okay. Call him. Immediately hangs up. He says, I don't speak English. And I go, okay, where are you? So there's two hotels right here. There's the Courtyard and the Spring Hill. Then there is another Marriott next door. And he says he's at the Marriott. So I go next door. He's not there. Then I found out I don't know why this is, but there were 3 Marriotts all next to each other. So I go to the other Marriott too, because he said he's at this specific one. He's not there either. Turns out he's at the place where I'm supposed to be at, originally. I get there, and like I said, it's been 15, 20 minutes. I've done my exercise for the day. I walked all around the block of Indianapolis. This pissed me off. He then lectures me in English about showing up on time and all this in perfect English. I'm like, why didn't you answer the phone? You could have just answered the phone, because he's just like, I don't speak English. He said I don't speak English on there. He spoke perfect English to just scold me about showing up on time and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there angry. And I'm keeping composure because there's a lot of people in the lobby because they're all playing board games. I'm just sitting there like, I would like my food. Thank you. I want my food. Please give me my food. So I eventually get my food. The food's cold. It doesn't matter that much. Guys show up around 1 a.m. I barely remember this because I see the door and it's kind of like I was asleep. And then I woke up and I went, hey, and then I go back to sleep, and then it was morning. So, then I talked to them for a little bit, asked them how their ride was. Was I conscious while I was talking to them? They say no. So like I said, I worked 2 of the 4 days. Thursday and Sunday were my free days. I worked Friday, Saturday. So we'll go over the free day first. This thing is massive. If y'all have ever been to a convention before, you guys kind of know how it goes. There's a giant convention hall. The big area is usually the vendor hall, and then they usually have smaller rooms for for panels and stuff like that. So I walk around. I visit my friend who is working for a dice company, and right next to it is the eBay booth. This is the box. It is a white deck box. That just says eBay on it. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I'm going to use it for something. I also got this pin. So I don't know if you can really see it well, but it's just a map that says eBay on it. They also have some cool tokens. They have some cat tokens and all that I've picked up that I needed for some decks. There's some cards in here that I'll probably show off later. But anyway, the booth was over there, and they were doing something cool. Basically, they were it's this little like not a photo booth, but it's basically like a giant iPad that you touch, and you're supposed to build your dream collection of like a bunch of like different cars that they had. This energy is for a sweepstakes that every day they would give away a card, and it was like let's see, they gave away a gold Blue Eyes one day. They gave away a One Piece card. They gave everything away except Magic. They gave away a Pokemon card, stuff like that. Some free stuff. So this line is the longest line I had to wait in, which is weird because it wasn't that long. It was just the process was kind of long. I'm standing. This area was kind of weird too because normally when I go to cons, I'm usually with like groups and stuff. I was by myself, so I was kind of like socializing with people. I know, weird, right? But there was a girl in front of me. I was talking to her, and then there were some dudes behind me. I was talking to them too. And while we're in line, they were doing a live stream of them. It was kind of like live auctions on eBay. And one of the guys comes up and just hands all of us four specifically, candy. And there were 2 DBZ 10s and there was 2 D20 10s. So he hands me a D20 and then a guy a DBZ. He's like, oh, I don't really want that. I kind of wanted that one. I go, hey, I got you, man. I switch it out, and he thinks like I'm one of the best guys ever or whatever. Ever thought. So he's like, man, you deserve some nice stuff. And I go, hey, yeah, I do. But anyway, he gets bored again, this guy, and he hands out Lorcana packs. It was set 2, which I think is, was it Rise of the Floodborn or something like that? And I pull a foil legendary from it. It wasn't an expensive one, but foil was $10. So karma. I believe in karma, not because, just because I just see results and all that. That's not the reason I'm nice to people all the time. It's just something I've noticed. But did that. I got a cool deck box. I got pins. I didn't win the card, but I mean, I got a lot of cool stuff for just standing in line and doing all that. He handed out more packs later. I didn't pull anything, so there was a big old artist alley, which had a lot of Magic artists from it. Bridget Roca was there, who is the person that does Mystical Disputes, the RCQ one. The RCQ promos. I got my playset signed to that. I was really happy about it. And Bruce Brennanese, I think that's how you say his name. He did some of the Shocklands for the Unset. And he actually did some of the art for Slay the Spire. If y'all don't know what Slay the Spire it is, y'all should check it out. It scratches the itch that Magic itches, and it's probably like in one of my like top 10 games. It's a roguelike deck builder, and it's on like anything online. So y'all should honestly check that one out. But he did some of the art for that, and I got a couple playmats signed. So that one was pretty cool. The Lorcana booth, the people that make it are Ravensburger. They gave out these gold pins. Also, I was able to get 2 of them. They gave me one at the beginning of the line, and at the end of the line, they asked if I got a pin, and I go, yeah. And they go, okay, well, you can have another. I'm like, yes, let's go. Those pins were going for like 100 online or something. I don't think they're going for that much anymore, but I'm going to keep them either way. They also gave out some cards and all that stuff. Afterwards, like, I had my fill. It was like 4 o'clock. I wanted to go eat food. I kept driving, and I ended up at a casino, but, I was up. I won $175, which paid for most of the stuff that I bought. This Artist Alley just destroyed my wallet. I think I spent about $200 there, just alone on that. So help. I spent a lot of money on that. But on the way back, so there was a parking deck below the hotel, and I didn't know this, but apparently Coheed and Cambria was there on Thursday, which if I would have known that, I would have gone to that instead. But I got there as soon as that was letting out, and as I mentioned before, the concert venue is right next to the hotel, so there's just a horde of people going around. The parking deck said full on it, so I was like, well, it was supposed to be like reserved for the people for the hotel. So I go there and it says out of order. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be stuck here. I don't know where to park. But like as I'm circling, I noticed like 10 cars leave that area. So I circle back around and I'm able to actually get a parking spot. So they lucky me, and it was right next to the elevator, and that's where I left my car for the entire rest of the trip. So Luckily, I was able to get out of that. So that's Thursday. Now we're gonna get into the like juicy magic stuff. So I want to point out that because of this event and how the layout was set up, I didn't see the sun for 2 days. I literally got it from my hotel. There was a skywalk. So I guess I did see the light. I didn't feel the light. There was a skywalk where you saw the sun for about 2 minutes a day or so. Then went straight into the card hall where there was no windows, no anything. So no sunlight for 2 solid days. That didn't affect me at all, I promise. But I get there, and I'm scheduled for this very different event. The con had a lot of very different events. They were mostly good. I'll mention one later that went a little off the rails. But this one was a modern event, and it was called Modern for Art, which I like it because, modern art, haha, hee hee. So how it works is it is a tournament where the winner gets an original piece of art. So it's the actual piece that's on the card. And it was for the Warden of the Sky or something. It's the 1-drop 1/2 that you can tap 3 creatures to let it scry, and then when it has counters, it gets flying. It's a standard playable card. And it was really cool. The issue is the event to get in cost $124. So pretty expensive, and most of the people here were playing like, I think for every constructed event there was 10 sealed events. I have never seen that many packs in one spot. They were like all Bloom Burrow too. There was so much Bloom Burrow opened, and I only saw one Jace, the Mind Sculptor, open. So, but anyway, I digress on that. So 16 people, 16-man event. There were 3 judges: me, my lead, and then another person, and there were 5 Nadu decks out of all of that. And luckily, Jeskai won. Not that I was rooting for anybody. I wasn't rooting for anybody. I was just rooting against Nadu. So we get everything situated, and there's no need for 3 judges on this event. There's 16 people for this event. It was capped at 96. So they asked for a volunteer to go switch over to another event. And I go, I'll volunteer as tribute. Why not? I'll go ahead and head out because, y'all got this. So I get switched over to PM events, and I get in charge of an event. And like I said, there's a lot of very unique events here. This thing was called Boss Monster. Boss Monster is basically arch enemy commander. So you have 4 people in a pod, and you are fighting something they call the Boss Monster, which is pretty much just this random enemy that you're fighting. So your goal is to beat the monster. The monster has 30 life, and you attack it like it's another person. So yeah, you go through all this, and how it works is you go through a cycle, and then the boss monster gets to roll a dice. There is a chart it's a D6, so it's a chart of 6 things that it can do. And it's anything from, they can only draw 1 card a turn, they can only play 1 spell a turn, one of them is Lava Axe everybody. There's the Comet effect, which was, you roll the dice 2 more times. And the 2 that basically got everybody one was Wrath of God, just destroy all creatures. And then the other one was each player discards 3 cards, mills 3 cards. Yeah, mills 3 cards, discards 3 cards. So when I was walking around doing this, I'm like, this is a weird event. Only 11 people played, but you instantly got 1,300 tickets when you did it, which is like the equivalent of, I think it was 3 booster packs. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad EV. I was walking around. They were getting just destroyed by just RNG because they kept rolling 6s and then 1s and 2s, and they eventually just got Lava Axe over and over. I was like, this is a silly event. And it was just 1 round, so it went by pretty fast. Then ran some collector sealed events. Collector sealed chaos draft, or collector chaos sealed is what it was called. And it's basically a chaos sealed event, just random packs, but they're all collector packs. This is where I was asked the most questions out of the entire event, because a lot of these players are not newer to the game, but they don't play it like competitively and then they don't know a lot of the keywords. And a lot of the collector packs and the rares, they take off the reminder text. So I had the hardest question I have ever been asked as the judge, which was, what does the initiative do? and he wanted me to explain to him every effect on the dungeon, and without looking at my phone. He was like, "You need your phone for this?" I'm like, "Yes, I don't know a single person that can name everything that dungeon does." So, and I didn't say it like that, but I was just like, just let me show you. Just let me show you real quick. And then he goes, I see. And then he asked me what the ring tempting does, and I was just like, I don't know, dude. And luckily, I did that because I saw the person in front of me had the ring card, and he just showed it to him. So, we got that all squared away. The event was fun. I mean, most of the questions for the casual events was just like, it was mostly what do their cards do. There was a couple rules interaction questions, but nothing difficult. Like, what happens when you what happens when you plot a card that has spree or something like that. Anyway, I digress. Let's see. The event hall was weird because they closed at 6 and we were allowed 2 breaks. We each had 11. Each shift was 11 hours, but we got 2.5 hours worth of break. So 150 minutes. I get a break around 8 o'clock, and there's no food open except for one booth. And I have never heard of this before. I don't know if this is a Midwest thing or I'm just uncultured, but it was called a walking taco, and it's basically they cut open a bag of chips. It's either Fritos, Doritos, or like Tostito chips, and they just make it taco salad. They just put meat in it. They put nacho cheese, jalapenos, lettuce. That is the only time I had something green this weekend, by the way. Everything around me was either chicken fingers, burgers, pizza, anything like that. This had lettuce, so it kind of counts. But it was interesting, but I paid $12 for a bag of chips, and that made me just, my skin crawl. Like, I hated it. I paid $22 for this cup. Also, this cup, it was $20, but every refill you got was $1, so it was worth it. It's the best 4 days of gaming. Hashtag Gencon. Hashtag Gencon Indy. All that stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention, there was one event. I was not in charge of this event, but I wanted to be in charge of this. So this event had a vintage win-a-box, and it fired. So most of the places do have vintage events, but they just don't fire. It had 7 people in it, and one of the players was on vintage rats, and it wasn't great. It was just, he brought it to the vintage deck, and he played the blue-black tap land that lets you gain a life, and at one point, a Dothy Voidwalker cracked to get the opponent's Diabolic Tutor. And I was like, oh, you poor child. Oh, no. I don't think he did well. I didn't stay for that entire event. I kind of walked away over that and went, oh, you're my hero, but I'm sorry. So, that was Friday. So, we got 2 more days left. So, we have Saturday. Okay, so this is where some interesting stuff happens. So, normally during these events, there's usually like a Magic product that's released or announced here. The Magic product they announced was called Mystery Boosters 2. So a while ago, there was Mystery Boosters, which is basically just a random assortment of cards that have playtest cards in them. So it makes for a unique drafting experience. The person, I don't know what Gavin actually does. I was kind of too afraid to ask at this point. I know he's big in Magic, but, educate me later. But he handed out invites to a bunch of, most of them were content creators, but he handed them out to a couple random people. One of them happens to be at my LGS, which is crazy because I'm pretty sure we are the only 2 people from Alabama at this event. So he gets this, and I'm like, that's freaking amazing. So my shift doesn't start till 11:30. They start the event at 10:45, so I go and watch. There's cards, like, we're all looking to see what the cards are because a couple packs were released, and apparently they're letting out white border cards, future sight border cards, stuff like that. So we wanted to see what borders they had. There was the one that I could see. There was a girl that was opening cards. She opened a white border 5-mana Teferi, and an Urza Saga, and a few other cards that I saw. One of the friend, I don't think he posted it, but there was a future sight Lotus Petal in his pack, which was hot. There was a future sight foil counterspell that was passed, or that was picked pack one. There was a Future Sight Soul Ring. There was all this. The product looks great. I'm probably going to get a few of it. And I think it's got some really good reprints. And I think it's going to be sought after because of the printings. So anyway, that was fun. In the morning, nothing really happened for me. It was mostly just running events as normal. I ran a standard win-a-box. Boros is good. Who knew? There was a few mid-range decks that did okay, but the Boros mid-rangers I think they won the boxes. How it works is you run three rounds. If you go 3-0, you get a box. So, I got whiplash because how they have a bunch of tables, and I'm watching this, and I get a judge call from behind me, and I go, okay, let's see what this is. The event that's being ran is a custom plane chase where you're only on one plane, but you also get custom cards. And one of the cards was I'll have to find it because we posted about it. Because it was one of the weirdest calls on here. It was mostly just because I got whiplash, and then another judge was behind me, and he got the call as well. I've got to find this real quick. Because it was... Oh, okay, here it is. So, you were on the plane, and the card that got cast is one of the custom cards. It's called Seek Bolus's Counseling, where you do a random effect, and the random effect that was picked was Planeswalk to a different plane. So, this introduces different decks, different stuff, and I just walk away. I'm like, okay, the head judge is on this one and had to go ask somebody, so I'm leaving. So that was a fun one. Yeah, that one was the judge was literally like, he posted it on our little page. It was just like, so what happens here? All this, I'm like, man, I don't know anything here. But yeah, that was a weird one that happened. All right, now we're going to get to. Let's see. There was a collector seal I did again. People are opening really cool stuff there. Like, somebody opened a lot of Saurons were open, like the full art Saurons. Like $200, $100 ones. I was like, good for y'all. They couldn't read them, but like, I'm glad that they they got them. Most of them just looked at it and said, cool, and they put it in a hard sleeve and then put it in their backpack. Now is this was the event that broke me and broke a lot of people. So I'll tell it from my perspective, and then I'll tell you what exactly happened. So I go on break, and I'm on my 90-minute break. I go, and I find out there's other food other than walking tacos. So I go over, and I think I grab like a steak sandwich or something. It cost me like an arm and a leg, and by that I mean like $20 for that and a drink and like Cheetos or something. So it's like 8:30 when I'm done, and I see another judge, and I just wave at him, and he waves me over, and I go, okay, what's up? And he goes, I haven't had my break yet. My feet are killing me. Can you go talk to our lead and see if we can get me on break? And I go, oh, yeah, I got this. So I go over there, tell him that. He's like, okay, well, you can go relieve him. I go, okay, cool. Gets me to speed of what this event is. Mind you, I said I got off. I got done at 8:30. Or I came back from dinner at 8:30. This event is called Two-Headed Giant Sealed Draft. And I hope they never, ever run this event ever again. How Two-Headed Giant Sealed Draft works is, so first of all, it's Two-Headed Giant. You open 6 packs. That is your sealed deck. After you are done with that, you then draft 6 packs. So, you look at the sealed cards, open it, make your deck, and then there's more time where you open cards and then draft it, where you pick 2 cards at a time, 6 packs. So this takes forever. Like when I am there, they are in the middle of the first pack of draft. And people are irritated because apparently it started late too, because the packs that they offered weren't the packs that were supposed to be offered or something like that. So it was said it was supposed to have Modern Horizons original, Battle Bond, and Modern Horizons 3. They didn't have any original Modern Horizons, so they had to go find that stuff. Anyway, that's all TO bullcrap and all that. So Like, that was stuff that they have to deal with. That wasn't something the judge had to deal with. So I get thrown into this. The draft takes till about 9 p.m. So this event started at 7. 2 hours in, we are still in deck construction. I put the time out for 9:30. Mind you, I don't know any of this. The only thing that I was actually told was they are in the middle of the draft. Once they are done, just put a timer up, and then once that timer's up, go to round 1. I say, okay, cool. So I put 9:30 on, and a couple of them groan, and I'm like, oh, do they need more time? Like, it was 30 minutes. Like, I thought, that was the time that they're supposed to get for this deck building. So I go up to them, and I go, if y'all need more time, just let me know. And they kind of go, like that. And they go, no, it's fine. Then I figure out that it was because that they've been here for 2 hours. So by the time they're all done, the other judge comes back. A couple of people have complained to the TO. I have to go tell the story to the TO about what I was doing, and I was like, I was just here. What all was going on is the head TO. There was a TO that was doing this, and then there's a head TO that took over. Anyway, what happens is the judge ends up getting a little bit frustrated. They go talk, and then I think they go on another event, or I think they end up leaving or something like that, which I get completely. I'm in charge of this event. The round 2, I guess not even round 2. So round 1 starts, so 9:30 was when deck construction was supposed to end, but one of the people spilled a drink behind them, so I had to go find a janitor to go clean that up before anyone could get up because of liability stuff and whatnot. So we don't start round 1 until about 9:45. It's supposed to end at 10:35. At the end of this event, 3 or 4 people go to the front and complain that basically that this event was, a crapshoot. And what happens is they entered everybody in as winning 3-0. So everybody got each team got each person got 3,000 tickets, 6,000 total. And then they said, if you want to drop, you can. Every team dropped except for 2 that played around. And at this point, it is almost 11:30. I'm supposed to get off at 10:15. So they're like, why are you still here? I'm like, this is why I'm still here. And they go, oh my God. So, yeah, I stayed for over an hour than I was supposed to run this. I give a briefing of what happened on my end. They thought that I was causing some of it because I told them that I didn't start the timer until the last draft pod ended, which they thought was 30 minutes. It was 3 minutes. It was the first and the 4th draft ended about 3 minutes in, and they're like, thank you for your clarification. We thought it was longer. And I say, yeah, no problem. We do all that. Nope. I would say everybody left happy. They didn't. Most of them were left a little frustrated. A couple of them said that they came only for this event, which I don't really believe that. I think they were just fishing for something, but I can't prove that, and that's not my call. That's the TO's call. But yeah. So yeah, Saturday was eventful. And then we get to Sunday, which is today of this recording. So I kind of got home and was just like, yeah, it's all on my mind. Let's go ahead and spill some of this. So while riding on the elevator, somebody said, cool shirt. I love this game. My shirt is from an Alaskan cruise. So I don't know what game they're talking about, but like cruises are cool, I guess, if you can consider them games. But he literally looked at my shirt, was like, I love that game. I go, me too. Yeah. So, I walk towards there, and I got lucky, and I signed up for the Unknown event, which is this event that Gavin runs every year. It's an Unknown tournament, and he's supposed to give out pretty cool cards with it. And I actually got the last ticket to do it. So I'm like, yeah, cool, well, let's go do this. So I sit across from this, they pair us. I sit across from this girl, and next to us is a couple. They're like late 40s, maybe early 50s. They look at us and go, y'all two related? She's also Asian. I'm Asian. They're not. And I'm like, I've never met this girl. And they'll go, oh, you're probably related. And I go, okay. She looks at me too. Was just like, it's just like, all right, we'll let it slide. Anyway, so we are told about the event. The event is a sealed event where you open 6 packs and you build a 60 card deck with a commander. The commander, color identity does not matter. So I can run a mono white commander in a 5-color deck. But the twist is we're given playtest cards to use in our decks, which I have those. I'm going to post that on the Southern Magic Twitter page and probably make a TikTok or something just to show like some of the cards. They're pretty cool. I'm not going to explain any of them yet because there is a few of them. So the girl is important because this is what happens. She's sitting across from me. They hand us all the packs, and then they hand us the mystery pack of the playtest cards. So I grab one, and then she grabs one. She grabs one that has the 10 of the same card, and it's not like a card that like benefits off of it. It's something like it's like Esper and a 2/2, but you take an extra turn, but the turn is taken by someone of your choice. And there was 10 of them. So I was like, well, I guess you could just play that and just, go to lunch or something, because like you're going to be taking turns forever. So Gavin just happens to be walking by, and I raise my hand. I go, hey, Gavin. He goes, what's up? And I go, hey, she has a thing, and I let her do the talking because, it's her thing. So she explains that this is all the same card. And Gavin goes, that's not right. So he gives her 3 options. The first option was keep the pack. Option 2 was switch it out for another playtest pack. Option 3 was switch it out for a Mystery Booster 2-pack. And I'm sitting there like, oh my god, that could have been mine. But also I'm like, I'm happy for her. So she opens the pack. She gets a White Border Mistress Bauble, a 5-drop Teferi, the creature, and then a Future Sight Tinderwall. And I didn't see what the playtest card was. It looked like a land or something, but like I didn't get a good eye on that. But she didn't even know what the Mystery Booster was. I was literally like, take it. You open that right now. And she did. And I found out that she was actually opening for one of her friends that was in one of the top 8 tournaments. He was like, you think my friend will like that? I'm like, yeah, I think he would. So she was nice, but yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, they handed us at the end of this event. I was on call, so it was around 1 or 2 when I was done. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna see if they need me. If not, I'm just gonna leave. So I say, I'm on call. Or do you think you'll be activating me? They go, we're slowing down, so probably not. So I go, okay, cool. They handed out this little swag bag, and it had a playmat. It had some of the playtest cards in it, which I will also share on a post later. It had a promo lightning bolt in it, and just a lot of cool stuff. Then I drove home, and drive was actually really good this time. Nashville sucked again, but yeah, that was kind of the experience. Honestly, Gencon was a blast. It was a ton of fun. If I get accepted again next year, I probably will go. It was a good time. It was a lot of sealed product. There was a lot of sealed product that was open throughout the entire convention, and it was cool going. It was cool going and then having a couple days off and actually meeting other people. Because normally, like I said, I normally go with a lot of friends, and we kind of hang out. But I met a lot of cool judges. I met a lot of like cool people from all over the U.S. I don't think I met anybody. No, one of my head judges was actually from Paris. So yeah, I guess around the world. I do recommend going if you are able to. It was a blast. I know I mentioned some of the events were a little bit rough, but like I would recommend doing it. But yeah, I just wanted to ramble on about this because it was on my mind, and I drove 7 hours. It was like I think it would be good to film it as a podcast thing. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.